This is the new Audi SQ7, and in some ways it's a little bit like the Ever Given cargo ship, in the way that it's absolutely massive. In another way, it's completely unlike the Ever Given, because with this car, Audi has successfully managed to do a U-turn without getting completely stuck. You see, this car used to have a diesel engine, but they've changed it now. It's got a twin-turbo petrol V8. Oh yeah, and we're going to see what exactly that means to this car's performance, because later on in this video I'm going to launch it and see how quick it is to 60 miles an hour and over the standing quarter mile. I'm also going to talk you through the changes that they've made to this car, the upgrades over the standard Q7, and I'm going to tell you what I like and don't like about it as well. I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching Carwow.
Buying a new car? Then head to Carwow, and my team will help you find your next car at a fair price. Carwow, your one-stop car buying comparison site.
Let's start off this video by talking about the price, because the SQ7 starts from just under £80,000, so it is quite expensive. And this range-topping Vorsprung model, with all the bells and whistles, £98,000. Thankfully, you can save an average of £8,000 off an SQ7 through Carwow. Still quite expensive though. So what I've done actually is found a car which does the same thing, 7-seater, sporty SUV, which is considerably less money, and I configured it through Carwow and got some amazing offers back on that car. If you click on the pop-out banner up there, you can actually see what that car is, because I've pre-configured it for you. So I'm good like that. Alternatively, if you just want to check out offers on this car, or any car for that matter, simply Google "Help Me Carwow," and my team and I will help you choose the right car for you and get it for a fair price from one of our trusted Carwow dealers. Now let's talk about the design differences that you get on the SQ7 over the standard Q7. The most noticeable is the lower bumper, which is unique and sportier. So on the normal Q7, this part will be black, but you get it in body colour on the SQ7, and you also have this diffusory bit. On the standard SQ7, it's like a matte silver, but on this Vorsprung, it's a sportier black. You also get quad exhaust pipes, as on other Audi S cars, though if you look deep within there, there are some smaller real exhaust pipes beyond them. Now you might be wondering why Audi does this kind of fakery. It's not as fake as on the old SQ7. This is what those exhaust pipes look like, and they're totally fake. Audi says they do this because if this car gets rear-ended, then they will have to replace this whole bumper. But because the exhaust itself is set back, they don't have to replace the exhaust. Whereas if the exhausts were actually popping out and a car hit that, it would bend the whole entire exhaust system, which is more expensive. I think that could be PR spin. I think they do it because look, that looks larger. It's like putting socks down your pants and giving it all that. Anyway, moving on. Some of the changes that you get on the SQ7, obviously the SQ7 badging and a roof spoiler. Here at the side, the SQ7 once again has body coloured mouldings on the sills rather than the normal Q7's black sills. You also get blacked out rear windows, alloy wheels starting from 21 inches rising to 22s on this range topping Vorsprung model. Speaking with the Vorsprung and the Black series then get black roof bars and black door mirror caps rather than the silver ones you get on the entry-level SQ7, if there is such a thing as an entry-level SQ7. But all SQ7s get S on the brake calipers to make it look more sporty, though to be fair from the side looks like a normal Q7 really, which itself looks like a sort of fat estate car rather than an SUV. It's quite a slab of car, and if I'm brutally honest, a bit boring looking. Here at the front, the SQ7 gets a more aggressive, deeper front bumper with bigger air intakes to cool the radiators than you get on the normal Q7. And this being the Vorsprung model, you then have like the black surround for the grille rather than the chrome on the normal SQ7. All SQ7s do get matrix LED headlights as standard, which can blank out part of their beam so you don't dazzle oncoming drivers. But the Vorsprung upgrades those to special ones that can do like a little dance and stuff, little animation here. Come on, there we go. When you open and close the car, and they have a laser light feature which gives you a high beam with twice the distance of its beam compared to a normal high beam system. So there we go. From the front though, it's like the rest of the car, it's pretty much under the radar, and I don't think it's as dramatic looking as the SQ8 with its kind of wilder, crazier grille. As well as changing the exterior design of the SQ7, Audi has made some tweaks to the chassis to make it more sporty to drive. So one of the things they've done is altered the air suspension, so you get it as standard on the SQ7, and as in the normal Q7 you can alter the ride height for having it a maximum height for off-roading to lowering it for a more sporty driving experience. And what I'm going to do is show you the difference in the ride heights now with the cutaway. The change with the SQ7 is that when you have it in its lowest setting, it's lower than it can go in the normal Q7. The SQ7 gets rear wheel steering as standard, and it's really handy because this is a big car, and when you're manoeuvring at low speeds, the back wheels turn in the opposite direction to the front wheels, so it's just easier to make tight turns. Then when you're going faster, it actually turns in the same direction as the fronts to improve your high speed stability. So the front discs are 400mm in diameter compared to 350mm on the normal Q7. You also get 6 piston calipers rather than the standard car's 2 pistons. 2 pistons. It's measly, isn't it, for such a big car? Okay, let's go and test out these brakes then. So I'm going to do a brake test from 70 miles an hour, see how they cope with this car's weight. 2,265 kilos. Right, let's get to 70 miles an hour then, full emergency stop. Right, what distance did we do that in? Ooh, 46 metres. Now, I actually did a brake test in my Audi RS6 and not much different. If you want to see what that was, click on the pop-up banner up there to go watch that video. The biggest upgrade with the SQ7 is, of course, its engine. Now, it used to have a 4-litre tri-turbo V8 diesel with 435 horsepower and 900 newton meters of torque, but they got rid of that and they've replaced it with a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 petrol with 507 horsepower, though slightly less torque at 770 newton meters. It drives all 4 wheels via a Quattro all-wheel drive system and uses an 8-speed automatic gearbox. Now, I'm going to launch this car to show you how quick it is to 60 miles an hour and over the standing quarter mile a bit later on in the video, so hang about for that. Here on the inside, it's like a normal Q7, which means quality is good, the design's lovely, everything's well laid out. You've got a decent infotainment system, real nice digital driver's display. However, being the S, you can change the dials over for the S Performance ones, which look a bit weird, but they are different, I guess. And you also have the facility of a lap timer. What are you going to be lapping in this, apart from the M25? Bit odd. Most important upgrade, though, are the S Sport seats, which are lovely, very comfy, and you've got the diamond quilting on them as well. You also get a perforated gear selector cover. Look, oh, lovely. And a little red surround for the starter button. There's some aluminium pedals. There's some aluminium S kick plates there. And, of course, an S steering wheel with an S badge on it, just to remind you that you've paid the extra for the S car. Here in the back, it's like a normal Q7, so loads of knee room, you've got slidey, and where's the thing? Recliny seats, like it's all, oh, look at that, you can really recline them. It's super comfy. But then there are some S-iness, especially if you get the Vorsprung model, because then you have Alcantara headlining, which is just lovely. And of course, you get the sport seats here in the middle row. But do you get them in the back row? Let's find out, because this is a 7-seater. Come on, yeah. I'm trying not to bang my head. I'll let you see, and then I'll just sort of climb into the back.
A few moments later.
Ah, look, turns out that you just get the normal seats from the standard Q7 here in the back, which is a bit of a shame.
Matt, I think there's something wrong with your mic. I was losing audio as you were coming over the seats.
What? Oh, actually, look at this. Yeah, it's not screwed in properly. Yeah, it must have come and done as I was climbing over. So, almost broke my hip and the microphone. Anyhow, here in the back, it's a bit of a tight squeeze. Definitely more room in the back of a BMW X7 50M or whatever it's called, their performance version of the X7. If you need to carry people in the back row and they're of normal adult size, you want the BMW. In fact, if you click on the pop-out banner up there, you can watch my full in-depth video review of the X7. Just like a normal Q7, the SQ7 has a very large boot. Even with the 3 rows of chairs in their upright position, you've got enough boot space for about 300 odd litres. It's about the same size as the Polo's boot, actually. I can fold down these rear chairs by pressing this button here like that. Just wait for it and I'll go down. Go on. Oh, there. Now we have 704 litres of space, which is really quite a lot. Now, that's 150 litres less than you get, or is quoted by Audi, for the normal Q7. I think it might have something to do with the fact that you don't have any underfloor storage here, because it's taken up by this stuff, which you get on the SQ7 as standard, maybe? I asked Audi the other day, but they didn't get back to me, so anyway. And that brings on to 5 annoying things about the SQ7. Well, switching to petrol means that doing this is much more pleasant than on the old SQ7. What's not so pleasant is the fuel economy. So the old car will do 29 miles per gallon. This new petrol version, only 23 according to Audi, though I've only averaged 17 miles per gallon. Reason being is that to experience the performance, you rev the car a bit more, which worsens your fuel economy, whereas with a diesel, you get instant low down shove. Oh dear. Are you the kind of person that does lots of heavy braking in their SQ7? Maybe because you live up in the Welsh hills or on a Scottish mountain. You probably want the carbon ceramic brakes then, don't you? Unfortunately, you can't get them in the UK, you can in other markets. You used to be able to get the SQ7 with active roll stabilisation, which would stop the car leaning in the bends. You can't get it on the car anymore. It's available on the SQ8, but no longer on the SQ7. Thanks, Audi. Integrated headrests of front sport seats reduce forward visibility of rear occupants. Facts. Audi doesn't let S cars be as sporty as RS cars, so even when it says you've got the stability all the way off, look, hard lock, floor it. Nah, it's just cutting the power because stability isn't all the way off. Also, they won't allow you to bang the engine off its limiter. It'll auto change up, look. So first gear, it's going to change up, look, see, just changed up. Just changed up of its own accord. This was an RS model, that wouldn't happen.
Don't worry, there's still plenty to like about this car. Here's the Carwow 5 cool features.
This car gets active engine mounts which help minimise the vibrations from the engine entering the cabin, so it's all super smooth. The new V8 petrol not only means that this new SQ7 sounds better than the old car, but it's also one of the reasons why it's up to 100 kilos lighter than before. Yeah, though it still weighs in at a portly 2.2 tonnes. The good news is this SQ7 has the same towing capacity as the old diesel SQ7 of 3.5 tonnes, and look, one of the few options you can get with it is an electrically operated tow hitch. Look at that. Oh, looks like this car is happy to see me. That's £1,000 extra, by the way. Well worth it. Because this is a V8 petrol now, not a diesel, it sounds much better. Listen, when you start it, oh, fruity. And it's even better when you're driving. One of the best things about the SQ7 is its pricing, because it's comparatively cheaper than its main competitors. For instance, it's £16,000 less than the BMW X7 50i. It's 20 grand less than a Range Rover Sport SVR, and it's a whopping £45,000 less than the Mercedes GLS 63. I had to just double check my notes there to make sure it was true. Now what I've done is actually configured my ideal SQ7, the spec I prefer, using the Carwow configurator. And if you want to check out the saving I've got on that, click on the pop-out bar in the top right hand corner of the screen to go check it out. Right, let's see what this thing is like to drive. Can you have fun in a big heavy SUV? Well, I'm hooning it around these corners and it's holding on. How quick are we going? 81 miles an hour around there. Unflappable. Is it fun? It sort of is, you know, hustling a big car like this along and it just gripping. That's kind of fun, and it will actually rotate a little bit when you chuck it into corners and you get that weight transfer. It will rotate round. You feel it moving around beneath you. Not too much, it's not agile really, or super playful. And you're always constrained by a car like this when your centre of gravity is higher because you've got jacked up suspension. But really, this car is as quick on a twisty road as anyone needs to be, and it gives you enough confidence as well, and you've certainly got enough traction getting out of corners because of your Quattro all-wheel drive system. And so you can hustle it along. In fact, you can hustle it along probably quicker than you can some sports cars. It's just that you won't be getting so much fun out of it, you won't be getting so much back. But as SUVs go, this is impressive. And then there's the engine. It's strong. You notice the difference between this and the RSQ8 in terms of outright punch, but it's not a huge difference, and it's still got a good noise coming from those exhausts. It sounds nice. Now I'm actually going to launch it and see how quick this car is to 60 and over the standing quarter mile a bit later on in this video, so hang on for that. But for now, oh yeah, it's got what it takes to keep up with pretty much anything. Now let's be honest, this is not how most people will drive their SQ7. Most of the time, they're just going to be cruising along like it's just a normal diesel Q7. Occasionally, they will want to just plant their foot and take off, and that's the idea behind this car. But more importantly, it's got to do the normal Q7 stuff, and it does. So it comes with air suspension as standard, and that means that over bumps, it's really quite comfy. It just floats along, it's very relaxing. It has that luxurious ride quality that you get with luxury cars that are fitted with air suspension. That's great. You've also got rear wheel steering, so even though it's a big car, you can manoeuvre it in tight spaces. It's great when you're trying to park this thing or go around mini roundabouts because you realise you've gone the wrong way. It's easy to drive. The automatic gearbox, it's not the quickest responding, but it's smooth, and smoothness is more important than quickness in a car such as this. It really does fulfill its brief very well. I mean, I've got it in sport setting at the moment, and despite the large wheels, it doesn't feel bumpy at all. I can go and put it into soft comfort setting, and then it really does slacken things off. And because you've got air suspension, you've also got the option of jacking up the suspension to increase your ride height if you need to go up a slightly large curb or over a speed hump that's a bit kind of raised, or if you need to go off-roading, but you won't be going off-roading really if you've got one of these cars, let's be honest. Great daily driver this, apart from the fuel economy, which I've already criticised. Anyway, enough of the sensible stuff. Let's get to the fun bit. Finally then, it's time to launch this car and see what it'll do 0 to 60 miles an hour and over the 17.25 mile. So Audi says it should do 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds, which is an improvement of the 4.8 seconds you used to be able to get out of the diesel old SQ7. This has the same engine and gearbox combination as the Audi RS6, so it should have a launch control. So let's see. Does it? Does it say launch? It doesn't say launch, but it still just brake boosts. Probably the same thing, it's just not saying launch control because they've decided that it's not going to because it's an S car, not an RS. And that is arse, if you ask me. But anyway, let's launch it. Come on. What the hell was that? Phew. Well, it's quicker than this, eh? 0 to 60, 3.89 seconds. Let's press on for the stunning quarter mile. I'm pressing, did it. 12.35. Ooh la la la. Don't know why I've gone French. Should have done the equivalent of ooh la la in German. I'm going to try again. And I'm going to find out what that noise was. In fact, I've just discovered what it is. Bear with me.
A few moments later.
Okay, I found out what the thing was in the back of the car. It's this. It's the cover for the boot. The parcel shelf cover thingy. Someone's left it in the car. What am I doing? I need help getting this out. Get help from the cameraman, Lewis. Yeah, can you help me with this, please, mate? Seamless. Oh, it's just putting in the boot. So that it's fair. We're doing this so it's fair because we don't want to take that weight out of the car because it might affect the time. Lewis, was that easy to fit?
Yeah, very easy.
There we go. At least we made a bit of consumer journalism out of that whole boring experience. Here we go, let's launch. Brake boost. That didn't feel quite so good, but what does the timer say? Oh, slightly better, 3.87 seconds. 0.02 of a second better. Go me. So quarter mile should be very similar. Slightly better, 12.3. Woo. Certainly rapid enough, actually. Do you need a big SUV to be quicker? I don't know. No, actually, of course you do. And if you want to see a bunch of SUVs that are quicker than this, click on the pop-out banner up there to go watch a video that I specially selected just for you. So then, what's my final verdict on the Audi SQ7? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should consider the Audi SQ7. You see, the engine's really powerful and the performance is great. And dynamically, it's pretty impressive. However, a diesel engine does just suit this kind of 7-seater SUV better. And unlike some other performance SUVs, it doesn't quite have the looks to match its performance. And really, for most buyers, that is more important.